How about this for a hot take? I believe that the next generation of Xbox is Microsoft's last generation as a console manufacturer. You want details? Here's why. Welcome to Perspective Z. It's your boy Zetamind TV. Now, the reason I say that this next console generation is Microsoft's last generation as a console manufacturer is because of this. Let me take you back to 2019, where during the E3 Bethesda showcase, id Software had a presentation where they showed off a new technology, a technology that we didn't think was important until now. Hindsight is so 2020.
We used our expertise in developing game engine software and took a different approach. By incorporating Orion technology at the game engine level, we're able to stream game content up to 20% faster per frame, leading to a dramatic reduction in latency. In addition, an Orion-enabled game can stream with up to 40% lower bandwidth. And happily, for game developers, Orion technology is easy to integrate with your game build with our SDK.
Now, I say that to say this, okay? At the time, we thought nothing of it. Google Stadia was around, and they were testing the waters with cloud gaming, and id Software saw a problem. You can't get high-quality graphics on the internet speeds that us in America are allowed, so we have to find a solution, and they found that solution. Then, the parent company, ZeniMax, 1 year later, goes up for sale. And who buys it? Microsoft. Now, us as Microsoft fans, we're elated. We're excited, right? Because we get Bethesda back under the eyes of Microsoft. We get id Software, Doom, back under the eyes of Microsoft. Our nostalgia glasses was on, and we forgot all about Project Orion. The Game Pass launches, and it's Microsoft's version of Netflix, right? We know what it is. Now, for those who don't know, it's like Netflix, where we get to download these games and play these games behind the subscription service that has gotten completely outrageous, but that's a story for another day. So they buy ZeniMax, right? Which gives them access to Project Orion. Then we hear about the crappy, crummy, and disgusting work culture over at Activision Blizzard, right? To the point where they start talking unionizations and things of that nature. And Microsoft was like, yo, I guess the CEO, I'm assuming the CEO got tired of dealing with this shit and tired of dealing with the backlash, excuse my French. But then Microsoft was like, yo, Call of Duty's up for sale? We gotta go get that. And they did just that. And then Sony tried to fight them on it tooth and nail because some of those Sony dollars went into Call of Duty development. They have been supporting Call of Duty for years. And Microsoft is like, It's our time. We taking it. So they bought them out. Right? So now we have all these acquisitions. Like we have all of these assets, all of these IPs that are under our belt. And with this power comes great responsibility, right? So then they started advancing more into the cloud aspect of things, advancing more into the, hey, let's make cloud gaming work and we'll make it a beta for our premium subscribers. Meanwhile, Call of Duty will put out games and we'll put Obsidian to work, and they make Grounded. They make all of these great games. And we don't want to say they're losing sight, but Phil Spencer's fading into the background making promises. And then we start seeing things like Forza Horizon launching on PlayStation. Gears of War launching on PlayStation. Halo making its way to PlayStation. We start seeing all these crazy things that would have sounded crazy 10 years ago, mind you. But now they're like, hey, we want to share our games with everyone. Yeah, Xbox gets Silent Hill 2. If you don't know, Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, all that is on Xbox now. But it seemed like they were trying to break the walls down, have everybody play together. They made Sony look like a fool. And they're like, okay, you know what? We lost the console generation, right? We lost the console generation. So now, how about we make it so that everybody plays together? Sony reluctantly agrees. I honestly feel like the only reason Sony agreed to this, though, is because of access to Project Orion. It all revolves around Project Orion. And why do I feel, and let me segue this into another aspect of what people forget about consoles, right? Is that Microsoft, like Bill Gates had to be convinced to sell these consoles at a loss, right? Because it was a gamble at the time. They just have a whole history of Xbox or Microsoft YouTube channel, but it was a gamble, right? Because when you manufacture consoles, you give a plug and play option to people who may not be able to afford a PC. Because building PCs, believe it or not, if you don't know, it's at least now, is very expensive, right? The price of RAM due to AI and the AI rush, the AI gold rush is driving them up to the point where people can't even sell used laptops anymore because people rather take the RAM out of the used laptops and make hella money. There's a gem for those who don't know. There's a gem. That's that gem right there. Take the RAM out of old laptops. They're buying it like crazy. But you can't even buy used tech anymore because the RAM has driven prices too high. That do we want to continue to sell these consoles at a loss? Because that's what they're doing. They're selling you the console at a loss in hopes that you buy the software so they can recoup the revenue that they lost manufacturing the console. This costs a lot of money. So then we get the interview with the CEO, right? Who says we're competing with TikTok. It was very fucking boneheaded. Excuse my French. It was very boneheaded. You know what? I know it. It made us mad. It was irritating. But he says that the next Xbox console is going to be a hybrid PC. They're going to allow your Steam library and your good old games library. For those who have a laptop, gaming laptop or computer, you notice that your good old games library and stuff. I feel like it's going to be more to it than just Steam, but you're going to be able to connect those libraries to your Xbox, and they're not going to sell it at a loss like they've been doing over the years. They're going to sell it at a premium price. What that price is, God knows. We'll find out in 2028, something like that, because if you don't know, silently they've extended this console generation because the manufacturing the next PlayStation, the Xbox now, is going to be astronomically costly. They want to see if the market balances out. That's another gem for you. But it's going to be a hybrid PC sale at a premium price with backwards compatibility in mind. And this is doubled down by Sarah Bond, right? So I kind of feel like, I say that to say this. Now that they're conditioning their audience, right? They're going to condition their audience to move over to PC or PlayStation. Hey, whatever floats your boat. But the main goal is to condition their audience to move over to PC. Why PC? So that they can get out of the console market, out of the home console market, and go third party with their games. They're the goal. If I had all of these IPs, it's just common sense why they wouldn't, right? If I had three of the biggest game developers under my belt, oh yeah, I'm going third party. I'm not selling consoles at a loss anymore. I'm going to do exactly what they're doing because business is mostly common sense, right? The shareholders are going to be happy because Xbox is moving out of the console market and going third party, which means, hey, we could put all of our budget and our marketing budget into the games. And the people are going to buy them. Hey. But yeah, that's my hot take. That's my firm belief. I do believe that the ultimate goal for Xbox is to condition its audience to move to PC and make it an easy transition, and then go third party and just develop games. And you're talking to a guy who has an Xbox from every generation in his home right now. That's the move that they're making. I could be wrong, but this is just my perspective. This is the first episode of Perspective G. It's your boy Zetamind TV. Peace.